three signs that tells you that regardless of you saying to yourself that you accept yourself, that you have a great relationship with yourself, that you are all about self-worth, when you do these following things, it's a sign that you are sending your subconscious a different message. Welcome to another episode of Insightful Success. I'm your host, Rosalind Perez, former therapist, now self-awareness and success expert. And today's episode is going to be short, yet powerful. I wanted to make sure that I delivered something with great value for us, high achieving, high performing, powerhouse women. Something that I've seen in many clients is that some women tend to be a little bit more aware of having low self-esteem, having self-image issues, while other women may not think of themselves that way. But that doesn't mean that even when you have a high self-image, you're not engaging in behaviors that are telling your subconscious mind otherwise. And this is something extremely important to highlight, to create awareness around, because even when we go around saying things such as, I love myself, I know I can do everything, I have high confidence, and I can do anything that I set my mind to. One thing is saying that, and another thing is actually operating from behaviors that are grounded in survival, or even more, in wounds that stem from our childhood. Wounds such as abandonment, unworthiness, rejection, betrayal, and rejection. And that's what my mission in the world is. I want to make sure that us as women are completely aware of where our behaviors are coming from. Because when we operate from lack of awareness around where our behaviors are coming from, that wound continues to be in charge. That's why you see many confident, high-performing, secure women that self-express those beliefs about themselves overwhelmed, overthinking, struggling with anxiety, with depression, feeling disconnected from other people. And then this is the reason, because we are still operating from survival places. So today I'm just going to talk and focus on three things, because there are many, but three signs that tells you that regardless of you saying to yourself that you accept yourself, that you have a great relationship with yourself, that you are all about self-worth, when you do these following things, it's a sign that you are sending your subconscious a different message. So what is sign number one? When you have to constantly be doing something. And how can you tell whether if this is you? If you stop and you're constantly thinking about, there are so many different things that I can be doing right now. And even though you're not doing something, you're still thinking about other things. That's not self-care. The more that we operate that way, you know what's the message that your subconscious receives? Your mind has associated your worth from all the things that you get to do. So it's going to struggle. It's going to have a very tough time with you relaxing, with you putting your mind in blank, with you enjoying the moment without thinking absolutely on anything that you have to do or a place where to be. Sign number two is having unrealistic high expectations on others. I'm not talking about having standards and having boundaries and making sure that you demand what it's going to be best for you for your well-being. I am talking about micromanaging, criticizing the minimal thing that other people do, or feeling resentful. And all of this happens internally. And you know what? I know this because I have been there. I have been in that situation where I may be talking to my husband or my children, and I used to find myself thinking, they're doing this wrong, or they shouldn't be doing this, or I would love for them to do this instead of this, or why couldn't they get me this type of gift? I would even feel resentful if they would get me, and this is just like really hard to admit. But I can do that because there has to be a type of healing. But for me to receive a gift and not like feel whether is this what I really wanted or not? And I used to operate that way. But you know what that really meant? Had nothing to do with a gift, had nothing to do with my husband or anybody else. It was a sign that I was so hard on myself that I did not accept myself unless perfection was present. And we project this onto others. So that's the difference because if like when you have high standards, this is the difference. You can say no, you can expect more, but then it won't generate a judgment or a criticism. That's the difference, or a defensiveness. But if any of these are present, you may want to wash into that sign. And sign number three is that regardless of what you have going in your life, in your relationships, in your career, in your business, your moments of content and joy are short lasting. They're just like come and go because nothing is never enough. And there's a type of guilt that comes from this. And I know that these topics have been talked before, but here's the difference. They have not been talked through a lens of survival because all of these are survival responses. And here's the missing piece. You can do all the mindset work you want, yet if you don't regulate, if you don't increase your self-awareness, catch yourself, regulate before you incorporate mindset work, then it's gonna keep you in that loop and you can do all the work you want, but eventually you will find yourself in that loop because there has to be a regular first an acknowledgement and second a regulation process of letting go, of being okay, of understanding your body's reactions when emotions that are distressing come up. So if this sounds familiar to you, don't worry. Don't worry because there are things that you can do. First, increase your self-awareness. Second, acknowledge that it's a survival response. So you want to make sure that you incorporate breathing exercises or you just learn how to stay put, learn about your body, how it responds, how does anxiety feels, how does anger feels. And when I talk about how does it feel, is like where does it show in your body? If you don't know that, it's because there's a disconnect between you and your body. And once you become familiar with your emotional language, then you can choose what type of affirmation or mindset you want to integrate in your self-care, self-healing journey. If you feel that this is something that is speaking to you, reach out, let's connect. Or if you feel that someone else you know may that came to mind and may like this episode, please feel free to share. This is a free resource that I put out there because I genuinely believe that we are here in the world and in life, in the universe, to rise above survival. I appreciate you tuning in, and I look forward to connecting with you during the next episode. Any other information is on the link, on the description link, and take care until the next time.